Hey everybody, it's Monday morning. Just trying to put out another video, trying to get us to a place where we can work with some more meaningful text and also produce some writing. That's really what this is all about. We're reading Romeo and Juliet for the challenge of it and the experience, but ultimately we want to get to a piece of writing. So this video, which is mostly going to move us through some plot and introduce you to some of the language and try to explain some of it. It's going to go... I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can without doing it any disservice, because it is poetry, it is Shakespeare, but let's get on with it already. When we left off in the last time, the prince had banished Romeo from Verona on the pain of death, and he's being sent to another town, essentially. And if he comes back to Verona, well, suffer the consequences if he gets caught. As the scene moves on, Juliet's not exactly sure how to feel. In fact, she's quite conflicted about her feelings. On the one hand, Romeo is her husband. Yeah, husband. And on the other, Romeo just killed her cousin. So she's like, that guy, I love him. Shakespeare has her use a series of oxymorons. By the way, I had to look up whether or not oxymorons was the plural form of oxymorons, but it is, which is great. I love saying oxymorons. Anyway, they convey her conflicted feelings. Brought the iPad home. Just wanted to bring up this. I love vocabulary.com.
Oxymoron.
I'm not sure if you heard that or not. Jumbo shrimp open secret. The oxymoron refers to a word or phrase that contradicts itself. And in fact, part of the reason why I love vocabulary.com is because they even use examples from Shakespeare when Juliet says parting is such sweet sorrow, and I guess the oxymoron here is sweet sorrow. There's lots of other oxymorons out there. You probably already know some. I think we're using one right now. Social distancing might be an oxymoron. Anyway, Juliet finds out that the nurse tells her that Romeo has killed Tybalt, and she says, oh, serpent heart, head with a flowering face. In other words, he's got like this evil snake heart, but he's so beautiful. She says, did ever a dragon keep so fair a cave? And then she's like, beautiful tyrant. This is a perfect example of the oxymoron. There's lots of tyrants out there. Genghis Khan, Stalin, Hitler, Ivan the Terrible, but beautiful. This wicked angel, he's a white-feathered raven, a wolvish ravening lamb, despised substance of divinest show. And she almost uses the definition of oxymoron here. She says that Romeo's just the opposite to what thou justly seemed. He's a damn saint. I just swore on camera. An honorable villain. She says, was ever a book containing such vile matter so fairly bound? Oh, that deceit should dwell in such a gorgeous palace. Yeah, she doesn't know what to think. It's Romeo's banishment, though, which drives her most to despair. As the scene changes in Friar Lawrence's cell, this is where Romeo goes flying to after he kills Tybalt. Romeo laments his bad luck, bad fortune. I mean, this was written in the stars. Star-crossed lovers. Upon the nurse's arrival, I'm not sure why the nurse knows that Romeo's there, but she shows up. Romeo, wild with guilt at the pain he's caused Juliet. Oh boy. He threatens to kill himself. The friar sets him straight and lays out a plan. He's like, get up. Here's some things to look forward to, okay? Thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou was but lately dead, like you were dead inside, without Rosaline's love, and then along came Juliet. There art thou happy. Tybalt would have killed you, but you killed Tybalt. There art thou happy. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile, banishment. The prince could have killed you. There art thou happy. A pack of blessings light upon thy back. He's like, stop your whining. Things are going well for you right now. By the way, part of the reason why things are going well, I think, is that the prince, the law, the prince's relative, Mercutio, was killed. And Romeo defends Mercutio by killing Tybalt. And I wonder if that kind of plays a role as to whether or not Romeo is either executed or exiled. So, yeah, a pack of blessings is on his back. Friar has a bit of a plan. Like, here's what you're going to do. Here's how this is going to go. Friar says, go, get to thy love, as was decreed, ascend her chamber and comfort her. Sneak into the Capulet house. But look thou, stay not till the watch be set. Like, but don't stay too long, because once the police are out on the street, you might not be able to get to this other city that you are going to go to, since you can't live in Verona, Mantua, where thou shalt live till we can find a time to shed light on your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and then call you back home. I'm not sure this is a real number, but with 20,000 times more joy than thou went forth in lamentation. It's going to be okay, Friar Lawrence says. Essentially, Friar Lawrence tells Romeo he must see Juliet, fix whatever issue he's going to have to fix since he killed her cousin, move to Mantua, and wait for the prince's pardon. It's going to take some time. Problem is that Shakespeare is the ultimate creator of wrinkles, adding complication to the plot. And on a sudden impulse in the next scene, Lord Capulet promises Paris that Juliet will marry him the day after tomorrow. That'd be Thursday. 2 days away. He thinks it'll cheer her up following Tybalt's death. See, the Capulet family, because of a lack of communication, is under the impression that Juliet has been bawling her eyes out over her cousin's death, which in part could be true, but some of her tears are related to Romeo. Just before dawn, Romeo's preparing to leave the Capulet house when the nurse barges in to say that Lady Capulet is on her way in. And Juliet says, "Then, window, let day in, let life out. It's morning time. Romeo's got to go. If he gets caught here in the daylight, especially in the daylight, he'll be killed. He's got to get out of town." As she hastens Romeo out and down, of course, the balcony, which he has climbed oh so many times if you've been watching the movie. And then this weird thing happens. It's very, I don't know, must be foreshadowing. Juliet says, "Oh, thinkst thou we shall ever meet again?" Romeo says, "I doubt it not, and all these woes shall serve for sweet discourses in times to come. Like, eventually we'll laugh about this." And Julia has this weird moment where she has this vision, and she says, "Oh God," as she's looking down at Romeo, "I have an ill divining soul. Methinks I see thee now art so low, as one dead in the bottom of a tomb. Either my eyesight fails, or thou lookst pale." And Romeo's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. In my eyes, you look pale too. It's dry sorrow that drinks our blood. See ya." And he exits the stage. Lady Capulet enters Juliet's chamber, swearing vengeance. I was so worried I was going to spell that wrong. She's talking about Romeo, of course, having killed Tybalt and not really getting anything for it, except some banishment. Lady Capulet says, "We will have vengeance for it, fear thou not. Then weep no more." Because, of course, Lady Capulet thinks that Juliet's weeping over Tybalt. She says, "I'll send to one in Mantua, where that same banished renegade doth live." I think she's planning some sort of assassination. "I'll send to somebody in Mantua that shall give him such an unaccustomed dram," poison, "that he shall soon keep Tybalt company. And then I hope thou wilt be satisfied. Like, I hope that'll stop your tears, daughter." And then a little bit of wordplay from Shakespeare by Juliet. Juliet says, "Indeed, I never shall be satisfied with Romeo till I behold him dead." Of course, she has to add these words for the sake of her mother. Yes, we are moving. I got some video for this as well, once we're done with the packet stuff. Lady Capulet also delivers what she thinks is going to be good news, that Juliet is to marry Paris in a few days. Like, this is all happening so fast. So fast. She's like, "What?" Upset at the news, she tells her mom and dad she will not marry Paris. Capulet and his wife swear they will disown Juliet if she does not. Capulet has already promised Paris that this is going to happen. What's he going to do? Go back on his word? He's going to look like a fool in front of a very powerful, wealthy man, even more so than he. Juliet turns to the nurse. She's like, "Nurse, what am I going to do?" And the nurse breaks it down like this. She's like, "Faith, here it is. Here's the deal. Romeo's banished. And I bet the whole world that he doesn't come back to challenge you if you marry Paris. Or if he does, it needs must be by stealth. He'd have to sneak in. Then, since the case so stands as now it doth, I think it best you married with the county. Marry the Count Paris." And she says, "Oh, he's a lovely gentleman. Romeo's a dishclout to him." The nurse just called Romeo a dishcloth compared to Paris. "An eagle, madam, hath not so green, so quick, so fair an eye as Paris hath." She says, "Cross my heart, I think you are happy in this second match, for it excels your first. Paris is better than Romeo, and even if it doesn't, Romeo's dead, or 'twere as good he were as living here and you no use of him. He's not even available to you." Juliet, feeling betrayed by her nurse, asks her to relay a message to her parents. She'll be at Friar Lawrence's cell, asking God for forgiveness. Supposedly, it's in a soliloquy. It's like a solo for actors and actresses. Juliet calls the nurse some names. She at first calls her ancient damnation. Damn you, old lady. O most wicked fiend. Is it more sin to wish me thus forsworn, or to dispraise my lord with that same tongue which she hath praised him with above compare so many thousand times? Go, counselor. The nurse used to be her number one counselor. Thou and my bosom henceforth shall be twain. You are no longer in my heart. I'll go to the friar to know what his remedy is. And if all else fail, here it gets a little dramatic right here, myself have power to die. She goes to the friar. She's going off to the priest, and she encounters Paris with a capital P. Sorry. He's making arrangements for their wedding. Awkward. Yeah, there is an awkward moment between them. It's not here in the packet. But once in the privacy of the friar's cell, Juliet says she'll, again, gets dramatic, kill herself before she marries Paris. Friar Lawrence says he has the answer to the problem. And this is the last piece. I'll give you a chance to do a little bit of work, and we can check in on it in the next video, but here's what he says. So here's the plan. In your packet, spend some time, see if you can sort out by summarizing what the plan is. I'll read it, maybe add a little bit of commentary here and there, but Friar says, hold then, go home. Be merry. Give consent to marry Paris. Wednesday is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, look that thou lie alone. Let not the nurse lie with thee in thy chamber. Take thou this vial, being then in bed, and this distilling liquor drink thou off. When, presently, through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humor, for no pulse shall keep his native progress, but surcease, no warmth, no breath shall testify thou livest. The roses in thy lips and cheeks will fade to wanny ashes. Thy eyes, window falls, like death when he shuts up the day of life. Each part, deprived of supple government, shall, stiff and stark, cold, appear like death. And in this borrowed likeness of shrunk death, thou shalt continue 42 hours, and then awake, as from a pleasant sleep. Now, when the bridegroom in the morning comes to rouse thee from thy bed, there art thou dead. Then, as the manner of our country is, in thy best robes uncovered on the bier, thou shalt be borne to that same ancient vault where all the kindred of the Capulets lie. In the meantime, against thou shalt awake. Romeo shall Romeo by my letters know our drift, and hither shall he come, and he and I will watch thy waking, and that very night shall Romeo bear thee hence to Mantua. And this shall free thee from this present shame, if no inconstant toy or womanish fear abate thy valor in the acting it. Now we'll pause right there. So what's the plan? Try it out on your own. There's nothing to submit today. It's an opportunity for you to just spend some time seeing if you can sort through exactly what the friar's plan is for Juliet. If you do want to submit something just to show me, that's fine. But it's ungraded. Less than 20 minutes. Sorry about the fact that it's 20 minutes though. Jeepers. There's some video that goes with it. I think I'll post it along with this particular video.